Welcome back to Under Oath. Like usual, this is about me and my law partner, Craig, debating, arguing, agreeing, sometimes not agreeing to figure out what we're looking at. And I think he's got a great case now because I'm not a fan of the Ivy League recently because of my religion. But we're going to let you pop this question anyway.
That's right. Yeah, you got a particular axe to grind with Harvard.
Yeah, I can't imagine that the head of Harvard actually said, well, anytime it's okay to badmouth Jews in certain circumstances.
But do you know why she said that?
I do. To cover her ass.
Yes, to cover her butt.
And guess what? How'd that work out for her?
It didn't work out too well.
Yeah, I'll tell you, who covers asses pretty well? Jews. You say stuff like that to us,
I don't know.
Well, we aren't talking about.
A great deal of the Jewish population seem to be in the Democratic side of things, but the Democrats don't really seem to be supporting you guys when it comes down to it.
Well, I don't think of us as you guys. I think of us as typically people who, like anybody else, could be the target of. Well,
when I say
conduct.
You guys, I'm excluding me from the group unless you think I am in the group with you, which I don't think you think.
No, I can't. I can't.
Okay.
But that's okay.
So it would be.
We're still friends.
So it would be appropriate for me to use the term.
What happens is, and a lot a people, you know what?
Well, she doesn't have an original
this topic.
thought.
I'm going to get on this one.
She doesn't have an original thought.
No, it's not that.
It's not plagiarism?
No, what happens is this, is when you are in a very tight community, you don't have the ability to think outside yourself anymore. It happens in every community you're in, whether you're on the far right or you're the far left. You slowly are indoctrinated to every concept that group lives and breathes on. Whether it be California, whether it be Oklahoma, whether it be Texas, whether it be Miami, Connecticut, New York City, everybody bonds in their own group.
You would think that the one place that would not be true would be in these well-established universities, historically known for their incredible independent thought and not going along with the flow, not going along with the crowd. Isn't that what Harvard and Princeton and Yale, isn't that what they all used to be?
No, they were never these places.
Well, that's how they were portrayed.
No.
That's how they were portrayed.
No, we lie to ourselves. When we use the word independent, that's just another group of people thinking the same way. Anytime we try to push us, oh, well, there's Republicans, there's Democrats, there's independents. Oh, this is a liberal college. Well, liberal people have their own feeling. This is a conservative college. Conservative people think a certain way. So even though you're supposed to be talking about the free flow of ideas, no, it's the free flow of our ideas. So no college has ever been a place where two sides get to equally battle. There is a set.
That is not how it's billed. And that is not what they say officially.
Who officially?
The colleges themselves.
Okay. I went to a wedding in California. I didn't know too much about Hollywood. I had some family members who, because the Jews control Hollywood. So I had some family members in the business. And I went to a wedding. And it was a highfalutin wedding.
I think we got Mel Gibson on the other line.
Yeah. It was a big dude at Disney sponsored the whole wedding. And I looked around, and it's hot outside. And these are some of the most liberal people in the world. Everyone's wearing sunglasses. I get it. But they were wearing the same sunglasses. The same brand of sunglasses. Everyone was wearing.
And they
all bought them independently.
No, wedding favor.
Nope.
Yeah, they got handed out as part of the wedding favor.
People will.
Ray-Bans.
Nope. It's like purses. It's like anything else. We bond in our similarities, not our differences. Even though our country is based on our differences, where we decide to live, it is always where we feel the most comfortable. And colleges are no different. Now, the problem I have is this. With Harvard, with certain colleges, anytime you say, hey, it's okay to pick on this minority depending on how we feel about it. No. I can promise you this. We consider certain groups untouchable. Then we need to consider all groups untouchable. That's all I'm saying. So the president of Harvard who lost her job because she actually got up in front of Congress and said, well, it's about the context. No, it's not. If context matters in one scenario, it matters in them all. And you don't get to jump off to the other side because the politics of your university at the time allows people to hate Jews.
Well, how do you think the relentless reporting on her plagiarism played into it? Do you think that gave Harvard cover to let her? Because at first they were standing behind her, and then every single one of her papers, or most of them, all had huge swaths of absolutely plagiarized material in it, and they kept bringing it up and up and up.
And
so do you think that gave Harvard cover to fire her for that?
No.
Because that's the official reason.
No. The official reason is we decided to go the different way, and she stepped down. I stepped down because I don't want to be.
But it was only after the pressure, the relentless pressure of the plagiarism that kept going. How embarrassing? No, seriously. How embarrassing is that for Harvard that their president, who had, 10 publications, and a giant percentage of each of those papers, those theses that she wrote, were plagiarized? How do you recover as an institution from that sort of damage?
Here's a little secret. You got scammed.
Who got scammed?
You did.
I did?
You did.
In what way?
Because you're missing one major thing.
What am I missing?
There is a Jewish donor who is responsible for a $100 million grant, and they were setting up a building. Now, the minute she testified, he goes, I'm pulling the $100 million. We think it was because of anti-Semitism. You think it was because of plagiarism. We all know in the end, it's about the dollars. $100 million were getting pulled unless she got fired. And you know what happened? She got fired, and the $100 million is still on the table. We talk with our wallets, not with our hearts.
That's even worse. So Harvard is just a basic whore on the street.
Yes, like everybody else.
No principles.
Everybody else.
No principles.
Yes.
No plagiarism principles.
Yes.
No, hey, you can't say hate speech against Jewish people on campus. Neither of those reasons?
Yes, all about the money.
That's sad.
How many times you and I fight insurance companies all day long? What is it about to them?
Well, they are not Harvard.
They're
not responsible for educating young minds to eventually run the country.
People, oh, we'll insure you for this. We'll insure you for that. These are billion-dollar companies who don't take care of people solely to keep their money in these investment accounts. So we're surprised when a college does it. Harvard they have an endowment fund that can run that college for the next 200 years. You think they're taking any money out of this thing? They want more money. More money, more money, more money. So the issue you're talking about with Harvard, the reason they made that final...
Who was the donor? Who was the Jewish donor that was donating $100 million? How does he even still want to associate with Harvard after this?
Because I still respect my college. I just don't respect the person who's running it.
Do you know who the new president is?
New president?
Did they pick one yet?
I think there's an interim. You know, any college, depending on where you're at, when they're put into the light and they're forced to talk, which is what happens in a deposition. It happens at a lot of different places. Now, Harvard even has another problem on the board. They had a guy working at one of their hospitals who was selling body parts.
Yes. October 28th. You're right, Jeff. October 28, 2020 is the day. So Harvard Medical School has its own Harvard morgue. And
Harvard morgue.
You can donate.
Is that like night shift where you get a party down there at night? Okay,
yes, actually.
All right.
You can donate your body to science. This is one of the places
donate to the college.
To the college if you want to, and I guess science generally. I don't know. I imagine all the schools.
I'd want to know exactly what kind of study is being done because
Well, I think you might want to, especially after you hear this. One of the employees was selling. Now get this. Selling body parts to a doll maker named Katrina McLean from Massachusetts. And what she was doing is using the skin and the heads of people in her doll making business.
How big are these dolls?
I'm not sure.
What kind of, what's the skin used for?
Definitely using cadavers.
What kind of Hannibal Lecter crap are we talking about?
That's what we're talking about.
I can understand hair, but what do you put skin on the doll for?
I don't.
Wow, this skin feels really lifelike.
Yeah. So Harvard just continues to get their butt kicked.
Hold on. Nobody's like, we're stopping there. What do you use the skin for?
I guess to put on the dolls, to give them a lifelike feel. I guess. I don't know. I never bought one.
What kind of Cabbage Patch nonsense are we doing? Now, here's what people don't know. The value of skin, for example, there are companies that will buy cadaver skin.
She bought the
And it's really expensive. How much did the doll person pay for the skin?
$600 she paid for 2 dissected cadaver faces.
That's cheap. Just the face.
Faces, 2 faces.
In the face.
$600 for 2 dead people's faces. I don't know why the faces. Is she maybe putting
like the whole head, or they just like pulled it, like the hand, like they pulled the face off, like face off?
I think the face off version. I don't think the skull and the brain, and I think like just the face. And I think maybe they were using.
How did they catch her?
The face.
Do we know how they caught her?
One of the relatives, one of the heirs of the cadavers, somehow found out that this was going on and sued Harvard.
How would they find out?
I don't know.
God, I need to see that. I need to see that show. I need to watch that show. I want to see how that played out. Because you're going, hey, I'd like to see my mother's face again, and you show up and the face is all gone. I mean, how do you even find out about that?
400 cadavers.
400 faces.
400 cadavers potentially involved. Well, the piece doesn't say anything about faces other than the 2 specific. So I got to think if it was 400 faces, that's what they would say.
So she sold like 400 things to the doll company.
And also sold necklaces made out of human bones. Apparently had a Instagram account called Cat's Creepy Creations. That was the name of the Instagram account where she sold
Cat's Creepy Creations.
These dolls and necklaces.
With human bone and
with actual human parts included in the manufacturing process.
And it was a relative who had to figure this out. Not anybody on the internet who goes, I wonder where she's getting these human bones from.
How awful. And of course, Harvard is saying, that's not, they're taking the typical employer position. That wasn't within the course and scope of employment. And we couldn't possibly have foreseen. I don't think that's a good defense for them.
Hold on. Compare this case to your, without mentioning any names, with our fast food case.
The fast food case.
Where the employee got in a fight in the parking lot.
I had a case where an employee got into a fight, and it was a fight over how an order was made on the intercom of a drive-through. All right?
I don't make any jokes.
It couldn't be any more in the course and scope
when I'm going through drive-through
than that.
Yeah.
Right? And so there was a problem with the order, and then, of course, they started calling each other names. I won't go into all the colorful language that was used, but it was offensive for everybody. Younger lady working there at the fast food place, 2 middle-aged ladies who were involved in the car. So, of course, everybody gets out of the store and gets out of the car because they're going to confront each other, and a serious ass whooping ensues. Was that within the course and scope of employment? So I know specifically about
a crime was committed.
A
crime was committed.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
A crime was committed. Yes.
So you are you feel. I could tell you feel strongly that Harvarders are responsible for this.
Yes, because it is not as though the janitor broke into the morgue and sold body parts. I agree that it would be unreasonable for Harvard to think that somebody not associated with handling the cadaver parts would mishandle them. But they had somebody whose job it was to handle the cadavers and nothing in place to make sure that the cadavers were handled appropriately. This person was just given free rein. Hey, here's the morgue. Help yourself. No supervision, no monitoring, no documentation. You don't have to inventory anything. There you go. What do you think's going to happen?
He stole from the college, though. He stole from them.
Yeah, well, yeah, he did. He did steal from them because now their students, their medical students, presumably, can't perform the sort of practice surgeries and all that other stuff that they would do on the cadavers.
So who owned the bodies now?
Harvard owns the bodies.
Harvard owns
but they misappropriated the use. So if I donate my body to science or to a medical facility, I sure as hell don't expect my face to end up on a doll for some lady's Instagram.
Believe it or not, when some people do donate their organs, their skin is sold to private companies later on. Different pieces are sold to, like, for example, you have, when they do that, what's it, Tommy John's?
So you're taking Harvard's position then.
I'm taking Harvard's.
Hey, you gave us the bodies.
We own it.
We can do whatever we want to with it.
We own it.
You have no rights.
Even if it was misappropriated later on. We didn't use the face. We used this body. What value was it?
No, I think you exceeded the scope of their consent.
What are you talking about? What if I fed the dogs with it after I was done?
Oh my goodness, Jeff.
What do you think happens to the scraps that nobody uses? They get disposed of.
I don't know, but
They get disposed of.
I can promise you that nobody who donated their body to Harvard and expected for their bodies to be used as dog food.
What if you donated your body and you found out that your relative was put into what they call the small penis test, where we decided to test. We were saying that this obviously Brian Jackson has an extremely small penis, and that we've discovered that white men from Chicago, like Brian Jackson, have a very small penis. The idea of choosing
It's not the same. Not the same. You're talking about maybe
what do they do with
insulting
the excess
someone
pieces?
or slandering
What
somebody.
do they do with the excess pieces?
I don't know what they do with the excess pieces.
What if they just throw it out?
And I don't even think it matters
What if they sent it to the farm?
if the people who donated knew. It is morally wrong.
Morally,
Yes.
that somebody committed a crime. They stole from Harvard. This is Harvard's property, not the person's, not the relative's property.
Yeah,
It's
they're
gone.
not suing for the value of the property. They're suing because the memory of their loved ones have been disgraced.
The memory.
Yes.
We now can sue for memories.
Well, what do you think? What do you think people do when they sue graveyards
who's damaged?
for putting the wrong body in the wrong graveyard? You think that's actual real physical damage?
No, somebody paid for a spot. Once you give the body away, it's not
so you
yours
think
anymore.
they can only sue just for the actual cost of the plot?
I think a lot of times it does. We know that case with dogs, for example. You only get property value.
No way.
You don't get the
That is
cost of the
outrageous.
dog.
That is an outrageous position.
It's the truth.
It's not the truth.
I own the body.
No, not
I own
absolutely.
it. You gave it to me.
You have to treat the body
With
some
respect?
kind of dignity.
No,
Yes.
there's no dignity rule. Where
Of
in the
course
contract does
there
that say
is.
that? Is there a contract that says that?
Doesn't matter.
It does matter.
It does not
It does matter. You're now garbage.
Not true.
You've donated your body. You hope that the
Nobody
majority.
donates their body with the expectation that that's what's going to
Let's say
happen.
99% of that body was used for good stuff. The face was used for bad stuff. So I used it for this, but this part didn't go the way we wanted it to go.
Well, if you take that position, then what will end up happening is that a lot fewer people are going to donate their bodies because they don't want their corpses being disgraced and
They
humiliated.
donated to a
And
college.
you're actually going to cause a rift in the medical student community because there's not going to be enough cadavers to fake operate on.
We're going to change it from a body to a car. I donated my
They
car
are not
to
the
Harvard.
same thing.
Sure they are.
No, they're not.
Sure
A
they are.
body is not a car.
I donated a
Things
car.
are different.
It goes to the
There
art
are
division.
things that are
There's
different.
some
Bodies
artist
and cars
pretending he's
are
screwing the car.
definitely different.
We're going to do this. I donated my Corvette to
I
Harvard.
promise you, if your grandfather donated his body to Harvard and you found out that his face was on a doll on an Instagram account, you'd lose your mind and you'd sue everybody you could find.
And they would say to me, you know what? You don't own it. You gave your car away. You gave your body away. I donated my Corvette to Harvard.
I didn't
It goes
donate
to the
it
art
to go
department.
to
Hold
a
on.
doll.
I go to the art department, and there are 8 dudes taking pictures naked on my dad's car. And I'm going, my dad wouldn't have wanted that. And you know what
A
they say to
car's
me?
not a body.
Tough. It's not your car anymore.
That is a terrible analogy.
property.
Terrible
It's
analogy.
property.
Terrible analogy.
It's still property.
It's not property.
Oh, what do you think? It's a human being now? The dead person has
something
rights?
more than property.
What rights go
But
to
it's
dead
not
people?
a human being anymore because they've passed. But they still have the dignity of their last request.
Dignity.
Yes, dignity.
And what was the last request? Donate to Harvard.
Yes, to be used to help educate
They
medical
don't say
students.
that. They just donate the body. You don't get to choose what division your body goes into or how we use it, or even if we sell it for parts.
Of course you do. If I donate my body to science, I don't expect science to take my body and feed it to a bunch of dogs.
What are your expectations? Do you sign a contract?
Doesn't matter.
Sure you do. It
You've
doesn't.
exceeded
Did you say it doesn't matter?
You've exceeded
What?
the permission of the gift.
The permission of the gift?
I am giving you a gift under the condition that you use it
conditions.
in a particular manner, and you have violated your end of the bargain by not using it in the particular manner under which I gave it.
Where are these conditions?
What do you mean, where
Where?
are they?
Is there a contract
It's
again?
implied.
What do you mean implied?
It's
You don't get to
implied
choose
that
what
when I
happens to you.
give my body to science, that it's not going to be used for dog food.
What if, for example, let's say, what if they know that I'm a donator, but I was the creator and president of Chick-fil-A. Let's say I'm the president And guy, I've created Chick-fil-A. It's all about me. I am a very religious person, and I donate my money to Harvard. Then they use me for gay research. We can agree that the guy who donated the body has no love for gay people, and they should have known that he would not be in support of this. And you know why we can't
That's
do that?
not true. The guy who owns Chick-fil-A hires gay people all the time.
He doesn't know it, though.
He does know it.
You think he knows
They don't
it?
discriminate against gay people.
Because they don't ask you.
How are you attacking Harvard and Chick-fil-A owner at the same time?
Because they feel the same in a weird way. I'm going on both sides of the spectrum, dude.
You've lost your mind. You're so far off the spectrum. You can't even see the spectrum from where you are.
The spectrum is pretty simple. Anytime I'm worried about the donator's feelings, if it's not under contract, if I don't write it, if the agreement does not cover it, then I'm free.
Not everything is black and white contract law, and you know it.
Okay, I donate something to Goodwill, an item.
That's different. You're talking about items. You're not talking about bodies.
Why?
We are
Why is it
supposed
different?
to, as a society, treat human remains differently than we treat a lamp. And if you can't see the difference
Really?
between that, then
don't.
I can't help you. And if Harvard can't see that, then they don't deserve to have
They
the
don't do it all
bodies.
the time.
They
test
need
this
to be
stuff.
taken off the list.
Who does needs
The
to be taken?
American Medical Association needs to take them off the list if they can't treat the bodies with dignity.
And who defines dignity? The Craig Lynd
People
School
who agree
of Dignity.
with me. People who agree with me define dignity.
Please
That's
go
who
to my
defines dignity.
website, Facebook page. No, please don't go to your Facebook page.
Every state has laws that protect the dignity of those remains.
So what can't be sold on a dead person, and what industries can't use them?
Well, if we're starting with the list, I'd say the doll making company that uses the faces for the dolls. We'll start with that one.
Do you want to be on that committee?
I'll happily be on.
Would
the
you
committee.
want to be on that committee, Craig?
I don't know if
I want to be on that wall.
There should be a committee, and if I was on it, that would be on the list of things to take off the list.
Well, if you're out there trying to create a committee right now that deals with what to do with dead people, put Craig on your list.